This is my audience. Wave, guys. Okay. Hello. My name is Jasmine James, and I am doing a speech on the effects of the Gulf Coast oil spill. The spill in the Gulf Coast has killed 11 people, spread between 94 and 124 million gallons of oil, and could possibly affect our ecosystem negatively. For those of you who aren't familiar with how much 94 million gallons is, it's the equivalent of 78.33 school gymnasiums filled to the top with oil. The devastation is yet to be realized by the American people. The spill has affected the world in many ways within a short amount of time, including the wildlife, environment, and the economy of the Gulf Coast. The wildlife are losing their natural habitats and their lives. Sea turtles, now in threat of endangerment, are being threatened even more. The mother sea turtles have laid their eggs in the sand on the Gulf Coast. They already have a 50% chance of dying after they hatch. With the ocean being contaminated, this percentage goes up. Another animal that is under endangerment is the birds. Being covered by oil, they lose their insulating ability and their water repelling ability, which exposes them to the elements. When they use the natural instinct of cleaning themselves, they ingest the oil, which eventually poisons them. These animals are a great part of our ecosystem. If we were to lose them, it could have a lot of negative effects. The whole environment could be at risk. The environmental damage cannot be realized just yet. It will take years to determine how much damage has already been done. The type of oil that was spilled in the Gulf, a crude oil, is the raw, thickest oil there is. It does not get broken down easily and does not evaporate much at all. It can contaminate intertidal animals such as mussels and shellfish, and cleanup is very difficult. In the Exxon Valdez spill in 1989, we are still seeing the damaging effects. It was only 11 million gallons, and the effects are still seen today. Mussels are still contaminated, and clam beds have not recovered yet. If the oil were to get sucked up into the loop current, it would spread faster and could possibly end up on the Georgia beaches. There's a 20 to 1% chance. This has done a lot of damage to the Gulf Coast, which relies on its beaches for a large part of its revenue. Florida relies on a healthy ocean for their income and living. Last year, there was over $62.5 billion spent on tourism. This year, hotels are reporting a 40% business drop. This is due to customer apprehension and not wanting to travel to oil-ridden beaches. The NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is predicting where the oil will go next. They are using historical wind currents and ocean patterns in order to determine this. Using this information, the Florida government is doing public service announcement to let the public know that the beaches are safe. As far as the fishing industry, Patty Kirk in Naples, Florida, which has not been affected by the oil as yet, has seen a tremendous drop in her customers. Many people are very apprehensive about buying fish from the Gulf. She says, and I quote, "Many people are concerned with the fish products. Nobody wants anything from the Gulf." Government measures are in place in order to help people's minds at ease. They are doing sensory testing by using seafood sniffers and also doing chemical testing. The seafood sniffers are people that are trained in order to determine the difference between good seafood and bad. Any type of chemical difference, your nose is really sensitive, so it can tell. This oil spill is not just hurting the Gulf, it is definitely taking a toll on the American economy also. Just last year, Florida contributed $1 billion from the fishing industry, $13 billion from the tourism industry, and $11 billion in oil and gas. This is all to the United States GDP. This problem is much larger than the Gulf. The problem in the Gulf is definitely a large one. The animals are at risk. Americans are economically and financially at risk. Although there are all these great risks, the response to it has been not large at all. Many people don't realize how serious this could get. It is affecting the world in a major way, and it can affect the world even more in a major way. For example, if a natural disaster came and hit your hometown and took away your job, the government is helping, but they're not promising any long-term help. How would you feel? We don't understand the toll it could take on the entire country because we are not in this position. I was very surprised at this information that I learned, and I hope you are too. I hope this video is informative. Thank you for your time. Save the Gulf Coast.